So my first question nowadays is, how have you been? And I want like the realist answer I can get, not just the
Mm,
good, not just the fine. What is the realist answer to how have you been?
I feel like I've been progressing with everything in life. I feel like I went through a little, I wouldn't say the word depression, but I feel like I went through a little, you know how us men are. We can't really express ourselves all the time in this world. So sometimes we deal with things and we kind of don't express it. So I've been getting over that, that mental aspect of being a man in society. So I kind of been doing good. I ain't gonna lie. I've been doing positive things. I think that was the main thing, is to be mentally positive, regardless of what's going on in the world or what's going on. That's it's kind of tough sometimes, but I'm good, bro. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
man. I
saying?
mean, listen, we're the same age, we're in our mid 30s, and I've been thinking about this a lot about basically how life I kind of feel like life seems to get harder as we get older. Would you agree with
Yeah, definitely responsibility. Listen, I miss going playing video games. You know what I'm saying? I
rapping in the
still
garage?
play, but now it's like, you know how we used to do. Y'all used to play the chess, play the games all day. Now it's like we can't really do that. It's bills to be paid. If you don't have kids, you may have stepkids. We at that age.
Are you still in Bayshore?
Yeah, I'm still in Bayshore. Still in Bayshore. Yeah.
Yeah, man, because yeah, I mean, so it sounds to me like you kind of went through a rough patch. So can we talk about that rough patch for a
Of
little bit?
course. Yeah, yeah. I'm open to anything, man. Yeah.
So
So basically,
so
mhm.
you said that you're all about progress, and I know your slogan is progression, I believe.
Right, right.
So let's talk about that rough patch because I feel like a lot of people, especially our age, but really all ages, are going through something right now. So what exactly were you upset about?
I think it was more so of it was two things. It was is financial, you know what I'm saying? Like not
Yeah.
even financial, it was more so making the money the way I want to make it. I think that was a huge thing for me. I feel like I could go to college, I can get a degree, which I have associates, but I'm not into anything that I
Require.
haven't figured that part out besides the music, because I do music, you already know. But I think that's what the main thing is. It's like until you turn your hobby into a dream, it's still a hobby to the rest of the world. Like people don't look at your dreams as you putting in the work. They just look at it, oh, you're a rapper. Okay. A lot of people rap, but a lot of people don't understand it takes a lot of work that you put in, just like any other business. It's a business at the end of the day.
You
So
do
that
have a
was
job though, right?
yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yes, yes, yes. So I work with special needs adults,
Uh,
and I do that basically not really for the money, but more so for the mental freedom and more so for just having freedom, period. Like time. I feel like time is important. Time you can't get back. So I feel like that's why that type of job, I'm out of there by 3:30, and I could work on my camera businesses, I could work on my music and not be physically exhausted or mentally, how these jobs are 12-hour shifts. Like, like I'm not trying to do that. I mean, of course I'll put in the work, but I'd rather be in love with what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm having fun at my job, but my goal is to elevate that into the job that I dream of having. But that was like the main thing that was really kind of stressing me out. You dealing with relationships and ladies, and it's like they look at us men like we're the provider, we're the protector. So they're
yeah.
looking at us like, okay, you're a rapper, but what else do you bring to the table? You see what I'm saying? So that's a big thing. That could mess with your mental in so many different ways. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I got into other things like camera work and painting, because I was more so like, let me lock in. Let me focus on what I want to do instead of what people want out of me. You feel what I'm saying? And
Are
that
you a
takes a lot.
photographer now?
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh.
I'm still learning, but I shoot a lot of music videos for Studio Ramen Studios in Queens. I have my
Yeah,
own
I went there.
clientele.
I met you there.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, he was in one of my videos.
Yeah,
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 so my boy owns that studio, so he kind
yeah.
of was like, "Yo, just I'll help you out with a job, man. Just do some videos." And ever since I started doing that, I've been doing all type of different videos. So just get into, but that is more lucrative than doing the music, of course. You know how it is. I know you do your music
Yeah.
thing too, so you know
Yeah.
how that is. It's hard
Well,
to really.
that's why I think I'm kind of the right person for this interview because I've been a musician since I was like 19 or even earlier. And, I know exactly not just how difficult it is, but how expensive it
Oh
is.
yeah,
Like
that's
music,
yeah.
you're
Hmm.
going to be in the red unless you become a signed, you're going to be in the red for forever. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. And it's like, you know what it is too? It's like a lot of people don't even buy music nowadays. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just either stream it on YouTube or these free sites or whatever. Like people not paying for music. But I look at it more like music is helping out everything else I'm doing. Like music for me was a way to vent. Like you notice, bro, you're the first person I ever started rapping with.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
that was it started off as a hobby, but then it became like, damn, I can, vent about life stuff. You know what I'm saying? And but I feel like what was I getting to? Basically that music stuff helps me because I could sell merch, I could promote other things because people recognize, oh, you do the music, oh, you do this too. So it's like, that's what I do it for now. It's more so just for me to vent and to push whatever else I got going on. You know what I mean? So
So the dream is to be a full-time musician. That's the dream.
not even necessarily. I just want to financially get some benefits from that financially and also open up different endeavors. Like I still, at some point in time I have to stop the rapping. Like I don't look at it
No,
like,
no,
oh,
you
this.
don't have to stop. You don't have to stop.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't have to stop. Yeah, but at some point I want to stop. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like. I mean, then again, I feel like that's a negative way of thinking too, because I also look at it like it makes me feel sad when like Andre 3000 is like, I'm too old nah. It's like you still have life experiences, but I guess hip hop is different from other genres. Like they don't look at the legends the same way maybe rock and roll or country or whatever the case. But at some point in time, I want to do different things as well. But yeah, that's a goal to just get some type. Even if I get paid from the same amount as my regular job, like that's a goal. Like that is an accomplishment. I don't have to be on a Jay-Z. I could be on I don't know, like a any artist, any artist you could think of, just to be making money from it. I think that's a dope thing. You know what
So
I'm
it
saying?
sounds like
So
you just want to be some sort of business owner and some sort of maybe like a
right.
serial entrepreneur. You know, because
Yeah,
I remember when we were younger, you were very, very heavy on being a full-time musician. And now it
yeah,
sounds like you're kind of like, well, I'm open to other things. I still want to do music for now, but as long
right.
as you're making money and as long as you're doing what you love.
Exactly. That's the goal, man. That's the goal. Because there's no worse feeling. Like I had jobs where I'm making great money, but it's like the work that I'm doing, I hate it every second. I used to drive trucks. I'm going to go into that again. But at the time, that particular truck job, I was like, bro, every second I got to get out of here, man. This is can't be life. Or I had another job where I'm at the office. I'm not really an office type of guy,
Yeah,
but I'm sitting there just like, bro. I'm like, I think of the Matrix. You seen the Matrix before?
of
With
course.
Neo in the cubicle, it's like,
Uh-huh.
yo, like, there's got to be more to this. So it's just like I just want to do what I want to do. Like
But
that's my goal
it sounds to me like you care more about having a job that you enjoy than a high salary.
to a certain degree. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
like for
yeah,
example, like would you if you had to choose between a 60K job that you love or a 160K job that you hate?
yeah. You're right. I guess you're right. Yeah, I would take that 60 because
Interesting.
it's like money comes and goes, bro. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we got to take care of what we have to take care of, but I feel like you can't, like I said, you can't take time. You can't get time back. So it's like I want to enjoy every moment of it. You see what I'm saying? We like notice, bro. Rest in peace, Beezy. Rest in peace, Roland. We have a lot of people from Bayshore and other areas as well passing away and at young ages. So I feel like sometimes we take life for granted, bro. Or
Anthony Torrada.
Anthony, yeah, Anthony, like that's crazy, bro. Like, and it's the people you never expect. You never expect them to go and have the most positive energy. Like you just like, damn. And I look at that like, bro, I can't just be out here doing something I don't want to do. I don't know. I could wake up tomorrow, get hit by a bus, God forbid. But we got to do what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we got to handle what we have to handle. But if I could create a way to do it the way I want to, that's good enough for me. I don't got to
So not
be.
not not to
You
get
know,
too morbid, but do you think about death a lot?
yes, yes. And I think what's crazy. And I'll be honest. I'm honest as hell. I'm
We're
afraid
getting
of death.
older.
Yes, I'm afraid of death because not afraid of death, but afraid of not accomplishing certain amount of things that I want to accomplish.
Not
That's
afraid of
the
living to your fullest potential.
yes. That's like my biggest fear ever because that's why every day I got to do something. But I have to like what I do is I have to organize my time. Like when I wake up 4 in the morning to go to the gym to be there at 4:30. After the gym, I got to read for like 30 minutes. After that, I gotta it's a routine. I have to have that routine. If I don't, I'll look back at the week like, damn, I didn't do nothing today. So I even schedule in video gaming because the last time I spoke to Beezy, our boy Beezy, bro, he was on the game, everything was good. And then next day he's not there. So I schedule in gaming. Like I bought Derek. You know, remember Derek from high
Yes, of
school?
course. Yeah,
He has
yeah.
the heart condition. Anytime he said, "Yo, pull up," I'm pulling up on Call of Duty for about an hour or whatever, and then I'll do whatever I have to do. But that even that is important to me. You know what I'm saying? You got to enjoy life, bro. Life is so short, bro. So that's what I'm on. That's why I always push that progression, the dream chasing, because you just life is so short, bro. But that's it took me to go through certain things, like a breakup. Like that's what kind of started my music shit. But relationships and things not working out. I think Kobe said it. Every L is a lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how you got to look at life. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
mean, it's interesting because we're at the age, we're reaching 40, and not only are we getting older, but everybody's getting older. Our parents are getting older, our brothers, our friends,
Right. Right.
our aunts, and like all my mom and aunts, they're all like in their like getting they're almost 70, and
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody is just getting closer and closer to death. So what exactly do you think about death? Like obviously we can say that we're afraid of it,
Right.
right? So is it like because so one some people say that when you're more afraid of death, you tend to live more in the present. Like a lot of people who are very, very like present oriented are very afraid of death. But it
Right.
also sounds like you're also very future oriented as well.
Yeah, I think it sounds crazy, but even like at the Beasley funeral, bro, like I feel like death kind of fuels me in a way, and I feel like I realized that at a young age, because I'm not. There's a lot of things I've seen, I've gone through. I don't talk about. I keep to myself. Like when I used to live in Amityville, I had a gun put to my head 2 times, and that could be traumatic. Yeah, it could be traumatic, and I don't talk about that. That's why, honestly, that's why there's a lot of things that have made me the person that I am, that I'm so quiet and everything. But at the same time, you start to get numb to certain stuff. But what I've realized at a young age is that death kind of fuels me, because it's like I don't want to be here without trying, without getting X, Y, Z done. So I feel like when I think of death, it is like a scary thing, but it's also like, nah, I got to get this done. And that's a constant reminder, like, yo, I got to get this done. I'm not going to be here, forever. I got to get this done. I see my mother. She used to take me to the studio. Now she can't hear. She can't hear none of my music. So that kind of fuels me as well. It's like I see her getting the gray hairs, and it's like, bro, I want to get her a crib, but I also that's the balance. That's where the stress comes in. It's like the pressure of life, bro. Like our parents are getting older, so it's like I want to do so much for them, but then it's like I'm back. It's like I'm stressed out. So it's like it's trying to find that balance. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I think about with death. It just kind of fuels me. Just kind of like it's like, to give a comparison, like basketball. Like when we used to play ball, what used to
Yeah,
fuel me a lot is the negative shit, like people talking shit.
yeah.
I'm sorry if I am I allowed to curse? I'm like I'm good, or can I curse? Nah.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay,
You can say
okay.
whatever
Yeah.
you
So
want.
so sometimes I use the negative things to fuel me. Like when somebody talks shit, I'm like, oh word, okay. So that's how I look at death. Like yeah, like such and such pass. I got to do all of this right now. Like I gotta shoot this video. I gotta record for this person. I gotta work out. I gotta get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's what I think about with death. And that's why. And I'll be honest with you, I don't go to no more funerals.
Really?
It's like I can't, because I rather remember. Like for example, like somebody like Beasley. The last convo we had was at the barbershop at Corporal Heights, and we just had a good convo. And it was sad to see him because he was barely walking good, but we had a good conversation. It was like a great conversation. But when I went to that funeral, it was mostly like it was, I would think about the good stuff, but it's like, thank God I couldn't see him in the casket. But I can't. I just don't want that to be a last memory of the person. Like, and I'll send my condolences. I'll send money. I'll send my support. But it's like I'd rather not have that in my head for the last memory. You feel me? I'd rather remember, like, if it was something
Positive.
good, I'd rather remember that. You know what I mean? But that's just me though. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
it's
no. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like you try to keep a positive impression of the person,
right.
which is a great way to look at it. So, I don't know. Are you comfortable talking about that experience with the gun to your head and Amity?
Yeah.
Are you
Mhm.
comfortable with that?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah.
'Cause, you said you don't talk about it, and those tend to be my favorite things to talk about on the podcast, which the things that people don't usually talk about. So, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So, do you want to? So, tell us the story. What happened?
All right. So basically, my grandmother, this is when I forgot what year this was, but this was during the blackout. I don't know if you remember about that. When I forgot what year that was, right? So I forgot the age and
How long
everything.
was the blackout?
It wasn't that long, from what I don't remember everything because I was so young. Like
I think we had a few blackout, a few
it
small
was a
black.
few. Yeah, I don't remember how. I probably had to be. I'm gonna say like probably like a little over 10. I couldn't give you an exact number, so I don't want to say here and make up a number, but
Uh-huh.
I was young. This is before I moved to Bayshore. This is, Amityville days. So I used to live on Ronald Drive. So Ronald Drive is like a church called the Freedom Chapel
Oh, this is
Church.
before Bayshore, before you
Yeah,
moved.
this is before Bayshore. Yeah, this is
Okay,
young,
okay,
bro. This is young. And
okay.
like and Amityville wasn't the worst area. It's not like the Bronx or these like where all these drill rappers are from, but it was a little bit of roughness going on. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
You got to understand at this time, I don't know if you know rapper Chinks Drugs.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
used to live in Amityville at a point in time, but it was like a really gang infested area, right? So I was walking basically from my house. My grandmother was like, "Yo, Al, can you?" She didn't say yo, but she said, "Al, can you give me some milk?" And we basically live close to Seatown, so I go to
Okay.
Seatown. I walking past the Freedom Chapel Church, making a right on 110, walking down there. Somebody comes up with a hoodie, and like I always had that mentality because I used to not be outside, but I used to play ball, so I know how to interact with certain people. Like once you show that face card, you're food. Like everybody wants to attack you. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, let me just keep my cool, keep walking. And this is an older kid at the time. So he probably maybe had been like 17. But to me, that's
Wow.
like, oh shit, that's a grown man. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he basically pulled out a gun on me. And I think my grandmother maybe gave not even $20, whatever she gave me. It might have been $10. I don't even remember. But he just pulled a gun on me and I just kind of froze, like, damn, like I don't want to be here. That's the only thing I kept thinking about. I just don't want to be here no more. Like I don't want to not in this life, but just in this neighborhood, in this setting. You see what I'm saying? But when I moved to Amityville, bro, I was happy as hell. But that I feel like certain things like that affected the person that I am. Like I feel like I'm so reserved and such an introverted person because of certain shit. And people react to stuff differently. Like I had a friend, I'm not gonna say his name, I'm not gonna put him out there, from Amityville. He's seen somebody rape his mother, rob him, and all of that. But he reacts totally different. Like nothing that like people, everybody reacts to certain stuff differently. You see what I'm saying?
Was
But
he the one at
certain,
Awareness Weekend, or is that someone different?
yeah,
He was the one
yeah,
at Awareness Weekend?
yeah. And
Okay.
that was my boy. That was my boy. Yeah.
Uh,
So he wasn't, he wasn't in my close circle, but that's somebody. Basically, when I used to play ball in middle school, he basically was like, "Yo, you got to put Alfonso on the team. He's a good dude, good solid dude, bro. Like one of the coolest dudes I ever met. I don't want to put his name out there, his business, but I look at that too. Like that's another reason why I'd be like, I go through certain stuff, but there's somebody that is always going to do something worse. So I respect people that could have a positive thing. But certain things I've been through, bro, I kind of just be like, you know what? Maybe it's the man in me, the pride. I'm just like, I don't need to talk to nobody about this. I have to keep this in. I got to keep it. I got to stand 10 toes, but that may not necessarily be the best thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need to talk to people. But us men, especially if you living in that type of setting, like yo, stop being a bitch. Like you gotta. That's not normal shit though. You know
but I
what
feel
I'm
like
saying?
that's changing. I feel like that stigma is changing.
I agree. I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree
like
for
20
sure.
years ago, we probably wouldn't have even been doing this podcast, you know?
Mm, facts. That's a fact. Yeah, things are definitely changing, bro. Technology. I
Was there
think.
another time when someone held you up?
Yeah, this is actually when I got a little older. So that was actually during a basketball game. And the dude who did that, he was a little he was I want to say he was in his 40s at the time. But this is at Oswego Park. This is at Oswego Park in Deer Park. And I don't remember the dude's name. If you play ball a lot, you probably know who I'm talking about. But he used to always carry a 40, like in a brown paper bag, and he would play with Timberlands on. So anybody who knows what I'm talking about, anybody that plays ball a lot, they know. I don't know the dude's name, but basically it was me and like maybe three of my Central ISA friends. I forgot how I met them. I think it might have been Suffolk Community College or something. But one summer we used to travel to different courts and play. So we decided to play at Oswego. And this is like not in the morning time, but it was broad daylight, right? So we like, yo, they can't shoot. We gonna play a 2-3 zone. And we just, we young kids, like, yo, we about to just talk shit. We about to bust their ass. So we busting their ass. What happens? He said, "Oh, word," and he's already drunk. This dude, yo, word, y'all want to play zone defense? All right. And we not thinking of nothing. This dude come back with a 9 millimeter.
That's
And
crazy.
we like, yo, but certain shit is like, bro, certain things like that. I don't know how to explain. It's like when I don't know. I think maybe even from the first one, my brain is already thinking, damn, like I already been in this type of situation, but that type of shit, it fucks with you a little bit. It's like, bro, it's like on one hand, you're like, I gotta be a man, like this ain't nothing gonna happen. Like, but in reality, it's like, bro, anything could have happened. Like
especially when you're
anything could
drunk.
happen. Exactly. Exactly my point. But I feel like, that's just a few things, but no, the other stuff, I don't feel like there's nothing more extreme than that. But I feel like it affected me, especially when I was younger. Like when I got older, it wasn't that bad, but at a young age, just going to get milk from my grandmother, like you don't, you know what I mean? It's like you look at life like, damn, like this is what it is. Like it's like, it's like, and let me tell you another thing. When I was younger, my father used to drive limos, so I used to get bullied a lot, low key, and I would never tell my parents because my father would, my mother was tough and my father was tough. So it was like I was afraid to, not of them, but afraid to just not be a man about my shit. So I didn't want to tell nobody anything. But every time I used to go on the bus, they'd be like, "Oh, you the rich kid on the block," because we had one of the biggest house on the block. It wasn't nothing. They didn't know we was living in the basement, like you know what I'm saying. But they thinking, "Oh, you the rich kid," and I used to always get made fun of. Always used to fight. So when I moved to Bayshore, bro, I was happy, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I was never no punk or nothing like that. But that type of stuff, that kind of molded me into like, yo, I gotta just make sure I'm on my shit. Not necessarily on some hood shit, but just I gotta stand up for myself. So that kind of made me appreciate it. But at the same time, that ain't really normal. No kid should have to go through getting bullied. But that's
Uh,
reality is that's the world we live in, bro.
I
You know what
mean,
I'm
when
saying?
you think about it, most kids do get bullied at some point. You know,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me, it was like here and there sort of thing. But one thing I know about people who tend to be more quiet and reserved, and I know because I'm pretty quiet and reserved, is that a lot of the time it's to avoid some sort of consequence or to avoid some sort of hurt or to like not take any chances. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Hold up, but one second. I don't think you're quiet and reserved, bro.
You don't think I am?
Nah, bro. Yo, you're one of the first people I met in Bayshore, and I just want to say I don't want to go too on track, but I feel like you're very out. To me, you're very outgoing. Like you're one of the first people that came up to me. You just start talking. Like I feel like you made me feel a little more comfortable in that, in our little
What did
group
I
of friends.
say? I don't even remember what I said.
I don't even remember the first convo, bro. I'm trying to even remember how we met, but
No, I actually do remember the first time I saw you. It was ninth grade art class with I think her
mm,
name was I don't Scholes, Miss Scholes, ninth grade Miss Scholes.
mm,
That's when I saw you. But then I think we had a lot of mutual friends too. So then we kind of like connected that way. But
mm.
I don't remember how we met or
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember. It's
it
so
was
long
probably in
ago.
10th grade at some point, but I
Yeah.
do have moments of being quiet and reserved. I have those moments, and it's usually to like avoid like some sort of like, maybe like someone judging me or like, like
Mm.
it's generally to avoid something, you know what I'm saying?
Got you, got you, got you. I think that could be part of my issue as well. I think it's part of the trauma, but part also like the avoid maybe not avoiding conflict, but yeah, like maybe that the same type of thing where it's like because of the bullying, I'm just like, nah, let me not even engage because I don't feel like going through something. Like that's just my mentality. So I don't even like, and I learned as a kid, I don't even look at people. I look at people in the eye when I'm speaking. When I'm walking past people, I make sure I don't stare and all that because back in the day, you look at somebody. I mean, even now, but when I was younger, I already knew. You look at somebody for too long,
Yeah.
it's a fight, bro. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
So it
so,
sounds like you had a childhood where you learned that the world is a jungle. Like the world, it's
mhm,
like a dog eat dog world, and it's dangerous, and it is a jungle. Like that's the reality of it. Like it's not.
right.
It's especially New York. New York is a jungle. So what do you? So how do you feel about the way that you move through the world? Like, is there a part of you that like kind of wants to engage more, or are you more like, okay, I'm reserved and I'm okay with being reserved, or are you like, no, I kind of wish
Mm.
I opened up more?
That's a good question. I feel like I have opened up more as the years been going on, but I feel like for some reason it's a difficult task. But to answer your question, yeah, I want to open up more, engage more. That's why I think I kind of basically forced myself to use a camera because just it's kind of like rapping. You're kind of the center of attention. I'm holding this gimbal, everybody's looking. I got to get more comfortable. I have to interact. I want to have more clientele. I want to orchestrate whatever. I have to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's actually one of my personal goals, one of my attributes I'm working on. You know what I mean? Like I try to get my mental right, physical, but I notice all my weaknesses, I gotta work on them. Like I look at it like basketball. I gotta work like my left hand. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not naturally good at it, but I'm trying to get there. I feel like since I first met you, so now I feel like I talk a little more, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's gonna take me a little minute, but I feel like I'm getting there.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of it has to do with your view on humanity too. Like, all right, let me ask you a question. How do you view humanity? Like, do you view it as like pe most people are evil, most people are good? Like, how is your like
Mm.
trust with people?
How's my trust with people? I don't really trust nobody, but
Yeah.
but that's I feel like I don't take things personal because I feel like I said earlier, I feel like people react to things different. People, people have different backgrounds, different things they've gone through that we may never know. But I feel like certain things you just can't take personal. You know what I'm saying? I don't even take racism personally sometimes because I know that sometimes these people are just born in certain families that just live a certain way. Like I don't be like, okay, you like Trump, you're racist. No, it's like, no, you have a certain belief and you grew up in this family that believes certain things. That doesn't necessarily mean you're racist, but that also means that you can't help the way you grew up. You know what I mean? Like I listen to certain music because of my parents. You know what I mean? I move a certain way because of my area I grew up. So I try to not take things too personal because like I don't feel like people were born evil. I feel like I think some people were born, a little off, but I think people, were born innocent and certain things just change you. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like.
The world changes you.
The world, yeah.
You know
Facts.
what actually kind of messed with my like faith in humanity? I'm gonna name drop
Mm.
Noman.
Yeah.
You remember Noman?
Mhm. Of course, yeah. Of
You remember
course.
what he did?
What he did as far as what?
He scammed a lot of people.
Mm.
I heard
Did
that
he?
he didn't. You told me that he scammed you. Didn't he owe you money? Did he pay you
Nah.
back?
Oh, I remember I don't want to put his business out there. Not he didn't scam me. He asked for stuff, but I didn't, he asked for to borrow money. I don't know about no scamming.
So he scammed a lot of people.
I didn't know that. Really?
So that and he was one of my best friends. But so when that happens, it kind of like makes you rethink. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't know that. Damn. Wow.
And that's why
Mm,
like I'm okay with putting his name out there because he did it, and it's funny because I actually just passed his house the other day, but
mm,
like that, and then so when you say you trust nobody, like I get it, bro. Like it's a crazy world. People are selfish, and like
yeah.
when people are when especially when people are broke, like they do anything. Like one thing I notice is like what miserable people or like people who are down, they tend to have the mentality of I'll do anything it takes to come up, whether it's like money or just,
Fact.
emotions. Like I'll do whatever it takes, even if it means hurting 100 other people. I'll do whatever it takes. So
No,
that's
that's a
why they
fact.
say hurt people hurt people.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I've experienced close friends, and what I realized, especially with men, a lot of it you can tell somebody's personality and character when it comes to money and women. You can tell, and it's like if you and I name those because those are kind of money means a lot, but those are small little detailed things. So if I can't trust you with those two, I can't trust you with nothing. I can't bring my lady around you. I can't bring nobody around you. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I feel like money is like the number one area that really, really brings out, or woman, that too. But like those are like the two areas that like really bring out the snake in people. Know
yes,
what I'm saying? Like if
yeah,
someone if you could trust someone financially, you could probably trust them in any situation. Like if you
fact,
could lend someone $1,000 and they pay you back, you could probably trust them in any situation.
facts. Exactly my point. You know what I'm saying? Exactly, bro.
Are you still, I don't know, are you still with the same person or are you single now?
Yeah, we about to hit 2 years soon. So yeah,
Nice. Do you
yeah.
want to talk about that or is that off limits?
Of course, yeah. Man, I'm open, man. I don't care,
So,
man.
I guess I won't say her name, but her brother is one of my best friends. We've been friends
Right,
since high school.
right.
So that's a pretty cool connection. So how did you two meet? I mean, obviously you're both in Bayshore, but did you meet like Instagram or how'd you meet?
So let me tell you, and it's crazy how we met. And it's like, it's not like your typical story. Like, you know how it is nowadays. A lot of times people meet people online and stuff like that. But kind of half online, half not. But basically, um, and it's funny how like how life works, right? So basically, I was getting out of a relationship, and I was more so I was stressed out about it. I'm not gonna front, but I was at the point at I was getting over it. I'm like, you know what, man? Same way of thinking. Life is short. I need to go outside, have a good time. The moment I do that, everything started to change. So basically, you remember Kavan from high school?
Kavan?
Short Kavan. I think I want to say his name is Brewster.
I think so.
Short.
I
You
think
probably
so.
know him by face for sure.
Was he our grade?
I think he might have. Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Okay.
Either our
Okay.
grade or the next year. But anyway, he was having a party, so he
Uh-huh.
went. He had a party, one of those boat parties.
Oh,
So
boat
I
party.
go in
Nice.
there, I post up videos, and I don't post too much. I don't feel like, but I posted myself dancing and all that. And just so happens, my lady used to work with him at McDonald's. He used to manage
Okay.
at McDonald's.
Uh-huh.
He also is friends with Joe Perkins, his little brother. He used to work at McDonald's as well. I was with him, so she just knew the same people. She was like, "Oh, I didn't know you know Kavan. That's what's up." And she followed me a while ago, but I never paid no mind to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And she was, I basically I seen her profile, bro, and she when she messaged me, I said, let me slide in there real quick. You know what I mean? Send her a
Uh,
message, and the rest is history. But it's funny because as we were talking, she was like, you had a show in Amityville for your 30th birthday, and I reached out for you for tickets. You never responded. I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that. But she said she been had her eye on me since then. So I was like, oh shit. And that was what, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. So I was like, oh shit. But we just had a connection. I took out to eat. We took a walk to the marina, had a nice conversation for about an hour, hour and a half. The rest is history. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like that goes to show you have a positive mind state, positive things happen. You know what I'm
Is she
saying?
your longest relationship so far, or?
Yeah, I feel like there's always been that year and a half, and then boom, it's cut off. Because
Yeah.
for whatever reason, maybe it's me, maybe I don't know, but yeah, this is the longest relationship, man.
Well, also, we learn we over time we learn what we want, we learn
Right.
what we don't want, we learn to set boundaries, we learn, like, and
Hmm.
we're in our 30s, we're at the age where like we know what we want for the most part. You know what I'm saying? But when in
That's
our early 20s, we didn't really know what we wanted in a partner.
right. That's a fact. That's a good point. It's a fact. Yeah. So
So,
yeah.
what do you think? You gonna pop the question soon? What do you think?
Honestly, yeah, yeah. I mean, not soon, soon, you know what I mean, but soon.
And like
Not
you
like,
said, now, to
yeah,
go back to where we were before, the man is expected to be the provider. So it's like, like unless you're making like good money, it's like there's a part of you that's like, should I even, like, so I'm
yeah.
myself as an example, right? Like, I can't be in a relationship while I'm struggling. Like, I can't do that. It's like,
Mm,
otherwise, it's like I gotta just focus on myself. Like, who's expected to pay for the first date?
the man,
There you
the
go.
man.
See, so it's like,
Yeah,
I
listen,
just
I
rather
get that.
focus on myself.
I get that. I get that. I think that was a lot of my problems as well in the past because I look at it the same way. Like, because I'm not gonna let the lady pay. Like, I don't care if I have my last $100 for the dinner. I'm gonna pay that date and I'm gonna figure out the rest, the next day. But
What about the
yeah, I
second date?
understand. Yeah, right, right. I
The sec
understand that, bro. I understand.
in
But
the
yeah,
in the second date, who pays on the second date?
who plays on the second date? You know what, bro? I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Not that I'm on some red pill type of stuff, but I feel like as a man, I just want to provide. I want to make life easy for my lady. Not that I'm gonna pay for everything, but I feel like, I want to pay for majority of the stuff. Even if I can't make a way, I'm gonna make a way. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I look at it. And because I want to set an example, because I don't have children, she has children, but I
Mm.
just want to lead by example. So if I have a daughter, whoever she's with, he's gonna take care of his business. Because I feel like at the end of the day, like you said, we're men, bro. We men. We got to take care of that. That's how I feel. Now, of course, she helps me. I'm not paying for everything, trust me.
Of course,
But
of course.
I try to just make things easier. You know what I'm saying? Just to be, I don't know. I
And,
feel like try to
well,
be an alpha male. You feel me? Like,
you want to be the leader,
yeah, exactly. There you go. There
and
you
I'm
go.
assuming that she helps you with your business too. I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah, to a certain degree, yeah. So
Yeah.
she gives me ideas and everything like that. She supports. Now that's where see now that you brought that up with the rapping thing, of course I don't know if you saw the last video. She was in that
I
video,
did, yeah, I
and
did.
that was the dope experience for her
Yeah,
because she got to see the process, like
that was her
studio
singing
time.
too, right? She was singing, I
Yeah,
think.
she was singing on it, yeah. So she got to see the whole process, so that made me feel good. But also on one hand, she's like, your dream is dope and everything, but like you gotta handle your business as well, So I like that though, because that kind of pushes me. Like you're right. So my thing lately is learning balance. I gotta work on it. I have to work on my dream. That's something I just do. But then I have to have a career, whether I like it or not. And I look at it like it's gonna also support that dream. I
Exactly.
can't because,
Exactly.
like you said, rap is a or music in general. That's another bill, bro. That's like the biggest bill. You
That's
got
a
to pay
big
for
bill, man.
studio time. You got to pay for music video, promotion, at whatever you pay. Like it's a lot. It's a lot, bro. So
Yeah.
that's my goal is to be balanced with everything. So
Yeah, I mean it's a tough balance, man, because the
oh
cost
yeah,
of living just gets worse and worse, and
yes,
as men, we're expected to be the providers, so it's like it's just I like I said, I feel like it just gets harder and harder every year. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
yep. That's a fact, bro. That's the toughest thing. And it's like you said, like I said, the women look at us as the provider. So it's like when you don't got it, you just feel like, damn, like I'm not. Sometimes you feel like you're not doing enough, but in reality, it's like everything's going up, bro.
yeah.
It's gonna keep going up. So that's the thing. For everybody out there, all the men out there, we just got to get our stuff together. That's just what it is. But I also feel like just go after what you want to do.
I
You know what
mean,
I'm saying?
I really feel the difference when like when I make more money and when I make less money, because I've had both years and like my mental health, bro, I feel the difference. Like my mental health is so much better when the cash is coming in. I just
Yeah.
feel so
Right.
much like safer, more secure. I feel like,
Right.
it's
Right.
I feel better about my future, you
Yeah.
know?
And I feel like that reflects off to your woman. You see
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So that's why I have that mentality where like even if I don't got it, I'm gonna get it because that's gonna make her feel safe and secure. Like, okay, he's doing this dream thing, but you know what? He always holds it down no matter what. You know what I'm saying? That's why I do that.
So I'm assuming you met the parents and she met
Oh
your
yeah,
parents.
yeah, we cool. I'm
Yeah.
down their family. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. They cool. The whole family's cool, bro. It's crazy that I haven't even linked up with her brother in high school. Like I know you know him, everybody else, but I didn't. I guess he moved there late or something like that.
Yeah,
But
he came to Bayshore, I think, 11, I think senior year, I think he came to Bayshore.
oh, that's what it
He
is.
yeah,
Got you.
yeah.
And I got expelled senior.
Do
Shout
you
out to
want to talk
Dominic.
about that or no?
Huh?
Do you want to talk about that or no?
Yeah, I just got expelled. Shout out to Dominic, man. Dominic, and I thought it was cool at the time. I don't know if it was his dad or somebody was making those butterfly knives or whatever they're called. But I thought it was dope, which is cool. They handmade, right? The
Yeah,
handle was made out of wood.
yeah.
And what happened one day? I'm in lunch, had it in my pocket. I got up to stand up, fell out my pocket. And the rest is like, they're like, you can't go to prom, you can't go to graduation, which I was able to go to graduation, but I had to go to I think it was the Legion, American Legion building, and I
Oh,
graduated.
but how did you grad? Did you take classes? Like,
Yes, I was taking classes outside of school, so I had to go to the American Legion building on Main Street at the time, and I got high honor roll because I was mad, man. I'm like, I'm a good kid, man. Like I thought it was cool. I'm not trying to shank nobody, like, but they don't care about that. Like, they had a meeting with both my parents. My dad was like, "What are you doing?" My mother was like, damn near crying. I'm like, damn, like I didn't know it was gonna be that big of a deal, but that kind of made me like, yo, fuck this school. I was like, I'm about to bust my ass and get these grades. And when I went to the graduation, I was just like, yeah, motherfucker. Like, yeah, like looking at the principal, like, yo, but yeah, man, like, I wasn't a bad kid, man.
I know.
Yep.
If you were to apply to a job, that would not come up,
No,
right?
I'm
That wouldn't
definitely,
come up.
definitely not. No, no, no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's funny because I remember like after high school, I used to crack so many jokes about that, and it's like now I feel so bad about that jokes. I never apologized for cracking those jokes. My bad.
stop it, bro. Listen, man, I love that. That's why, that's what I come from, bro. That's
Uh,
that's fun, cracking jokes,
yeah,
cutting ass, and that's why I tell a lot of these kids, like, y'all don't really get bullied. Y'all get bullied online, really. Y'all don't know like what it's like to get bullied, and if you do get bullied, just have a comeback and just be ready for whatever happened. Don't start nothing, but when I have my kids, I'm gonna tell them make sure you're ready to cut ass because that's what kids do. They the biggest critics.
yeah.
So
I mean, but to a kid, like there are some kids like that they don't like they really fall into a depression from all that,
yeah, that's
you
true. That's
know?
true.
Like
Yeah,
it's really sad, especially I see it in a lot of girls. Like I have a friend who I won't name who has uh two little girls and a little boy, and there's like we said, every kid gets bullied, and it can really
yeah,
have a large impact, not just on them like in fifth grade, sixth grade, on them for life. Like
Yeah, that's
like
true. That's true.
childhood bullying, it stays with you, you know?
Yeah, that's a serious thing too. But like I said, everybody, takes things in differently. Pause. Um, but I feel like it helped me out. Like the being bullying. I feel like the basketball helped me out because I used to when I first started. My boy Andrew, who does a lot for the community nowadays, he works for Boulder Bat Park in the town and everything. But he used to always like, it was our home, our home. But he was the biggest shit talker. We would dead ass be like, yo, we about to play these grown kids because I want to get better. We about to say, yo, I want a one on one. I want a one on, and we talk shit all day. But that kind of molded me to be like, all right, you just talking shit. Like I shouldn't be that emotional. And I feel like that can make or break you. You can
Yeah.
either take it or not. So it's like basketball definitely helped me, and also just growing up with rough kids,
Well,
being
it
outside.
also gave you the confidence because you were always really good at ball. So I'm
Oh,
sure it gave you
appreciate that.
some confidence, right?
That too. It did. It did. Because it's like that. That's kind of what made me a little bit accepted a little bit. Because like when you're not hood or you're not tough enough, they don't want you around. But when they see, oh, he's nice, like I want to pick him up. Now you get accepted. Now you start talking more. Now you can be social with these dudes. Like bro, Amityville, bro, it was kind of rough. I'm not gonna lie. It was we would play against grown men. You cross them up too good, we're fighting. That's just what it is. That's what it is. But that
Yeah,
made me.
totally,
That made
bro.
it fun for me. Like yo, like this is fun. I know that now. I can take it, and now I can talk shit back. If I get in a fight, it is what it is. But it ain't. It's never that serious. And I
You
feel like
still
these
play ball
kids.
nowadays? You still play?
Hell no, hell no.
Yeah.
On 2K, it doesn't matter. Nah, that's another thing that kind of had me not in depression. I don't want to use that word, but that's another thing that had me feeling low. I have gout, chronic gout.
I
So
have gout
basically,
too. I have gout
oh,
too.
you do? Oh
Very
my,
gout,
yeah,
yeah.
bro. And
Yeah.
so you already know the type of pain. Like the first flare up I had, it was like I couldn't put the covers on me. It was like as soon as it touched my leg, I'm like, damn, I could send you pictures, bro. My knee was like this, like I couldn't walk for 2 months, and that's when I had the trucking job. Like I was like, damn, I'm finally getting into something that's maybe not that I like, but I'm making money, and now I can't even work. And that my father had to carry me up the stairs. Like I was like, yo, 1 minute you good and walking, 1 minute you're like, that's it. And that's what made me, I've been consistently going to the gym. I'm not in the greatest shape. I'm not the most brolic in the world, but that's what had me going 5 days a week
Well,
because I'm like,
it's
yo,
more about diet, isn't it?
it is. But I also feel like I don't feel like my diet was too terrible, but I also feel like it's just I think us men need to go to the doctor more as well because I feel like it doesn't even run in my family. I feel like I don't eat that terrible, but you still got to go to the doctor because I feel like I could have prevented it because
Well,
there
the
was
thing about
times that
gout is that there's so many different foods that contribute towards it. There's red
exactly.
meat, there's sugar, there's alcohol, there's like shellfish. There's so many
Yeah,
different foods that contribute towards it.
exactly. That's the challenging thing because now it's like realizing that shoot, you could be right. Like it could be a lot of things I ate as a kid. I could have just not ate, and maybe it may have not gone that to be that bad. But I always knew something was wrong with me. I just never knew what it was.
How often
Like
do you
when
get attacks?
not often recently. I would say I haven't had a bad attack in a couple of years.
That's
So
great.
yeah, so I had to fall back from truck driving, but now I can go back now because I haven't had the issue. But like yeah, like that gout shit, that kind of it messed me up, bro. Like I had
You,
like go.
it's funny because the first time I had it, I thought I sprained my ankle. Like that's because it felt the same. Like I sprained my ankle when in the YMCA when I was 16. It felt the same. I couldn't
Right.
walk in it, so I was like, did I sprain my ankle while I was sleeping? Like that I didn't know what it was.
That's funny you say that because there was a time I think it was 10th grade year, maybe 10th or 11th, I don't remember, maybe 10th. But I thought well I did fracture my ankle, but I was like something else must be going on. I didn't know what it was, but every time I used to run, even when after high school when we used to play pickup, I'm like, why am I in pain? I used to think maybe I'm supposed to be in pain. Nah, that's because of that gout. That's what it was. So I think it's important for us to be on top of our health, man. Like I said, all these people are passing. And it's just like you just never know. And it's better to go into possibly prevent something than just freestyle life because it's never gonna work like that. You gotta always be organized and have a plan and just be prepared. So you know, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You know what I
Well, I
mean?
read that drinking water helps a lot because it comes out when
Yes.
you urine. That's when it comes. That's
Right.
when the uric acid comes out.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I got to the point.
How is your diet nowadays? How is it
It's
nowadays?
good. It's really good. It's good though. Obviously, with the lady, we going out to eat a lot. Sometimes it's like, all right, I want to have my fun, but my diet's always been pretty good, to be honest with you. I think maybe when I was young as a kid, it was crazy, but I always ate decent because I always did some type of sport. Like I started off with football, and then I started, I like basketball more. So I was like, nah,
Were
I'm
you on
gonna
the team in Bayshore High School?
not the football team. No,
Were you on the
not the
basketball
football team.
team?
The basketball team, yeah. The basketball, 10th grade, 10th and 11th grade. I didn't play senior year. Obviously, I got expelled.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah. So yeah, I probably could have played 12th grade
It's
year,
funny because
but
I only went to like one or two games, so I kind of wish that I went to more games
yeah,
because
me
we had
too.
a
To
good
be
team.
honest with you, yeah, like even if I didn't make the team or something, or not even make the team, but obviously 12th grade I couldn't. But even like, even before that, I wish I won some more games. Like, but yeah, I used to do that. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I also wonder, like, if that time when you did drop the knife in the cafeteria, if you were white, like, would you still have that expelled? Like, what do you think? What do you think?
I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you. It might have been a different outcome, but I don't know, man. All I know is I needed that. I feel like it kind of woke me up to what it really is. Like meaning, like it doesn't matter. Like my record was clean, bro. I didn't go to in school suspension. I didn't do nothing, bro. So I was like that one
You
little
were a
thing,
quiet kid.
very quiet. I was very to myself. Like I never did anything wrong. And I missed prom. Luckily, I went to my ex's prom, but I never got that experience to be with my homies and
It's
people I
not much.
know.
It's not. You're
Yeah,
not.
I know, but still, man, it's like you know. But yeah, man, like that kind of made me be like, you know what? It's all good. Like it is what it is. Like I'm just gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy
So,
what I do.
what I'm hearing is that throughout the years you gained a lot of confidence throughout the years.
Definitely,
So
definitely.
let's talk about that because a lot of people are struggling right now with confidence, especially younger, but even all ages. So
Uh-huh.
what is the key? What is the key to building your confidence?
Just going. I feel like going through things. I feel like a lot of these kids on their electronics. A lot of the parents are like, I don't feel like watching my kid. Here, take the tablet. And I feel like a lot of them need to go outside. A lot of them need to be around the kids that bully, not necessarily to be bullied, but just to experience different personalities. Because guess what? Even when you get older, you may go to a certain job where you get bullied. Like, you know what I'm saying? They may look at you like, yo,
A lot of
man.
bosses bullying
Yes, yeah,
employees.
you
Yeah.
see, exactly. So I feel like that's important. All of that stuff, like I said, every loss is a lesson. So I feel like every experience you need. And that's why me personally, I don't think I would send my kids to private school. Like I would be on top of them with education,
Uh,
but a part of it feels like not that private school you don't experience different personalities, but public school you experience a lot different, different levels of personalities.
and you're
So I feel
saying
like
that we need that.
I do. I do. I think so. I think so. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like when I look at all of the greatest people in the world, when I look at like even somebody like a LeBron, you see where he
Mhm.
comes from, the hood. You
Mhm.
look at somebody like a Jay-Z. You look at somebody like a lot of these people that have money, a lot of them didn't even go to school. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them come from bad experiences. And I feel like that kind of molded them. You know what I mean? And I feel like you need that, especially as us men, we need that toughness. We need that experience. You
You
know
know,
what I
it's
mean?
funny
Like,
because like here's where it gets really, really interesting because they say tough times make you stronger and tough times make strong men. And it's really interesting because like what I see is two groups of people.
mm,
I see people who tough times made them stronger, like you, like me, and I also see people who tough times just made them traumatized and
right.
gave them PTSD. And it's like it's sort of this like weird dichotomy where it's like, does it make you stronger or does it give you depression
That's a
and
good point.
PTSD? Like I see it,
Mhm.
I see both of it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I agree, and I agree, and I think that goes to show like all of these drill rappers. I don't mean to keep talking about rap, but that's a perfect example because you can look at one of those kids in Chicago and say, "Damn, he's traumatized." You know what I'm saying? Like there was a documentary, and I forgot the name of it. When I think of it, I'll let you know. But there was like a group of bad kids, and basically they documented them when they were younger, and then they showed them as teens. But one of the kids actually ended up dying, and I think that's why they stopped the documentary. But it's interesting to see, like, it's really the environment that shaped them up, and it's like you could take another kid and say, "Oh, this person went through this, but he's excelling and doing
Yep.
well."
Yeah.
But this kid wants to be so involved with the hood and so it's like people are that's what makes I guess life so interesting is we're all different. But like I agree with you though. Like it's everybody is not going to overcome those losses that they may take. So I agree with that. I mean, there's nothing I can say to that. Like it
Yeah.
can
No,
make
it's
some
I'm
of
just
us
trying
trust,
to
some of
figure
us not.
I'm trying to figure out like why we have different outcomes. Like I think maybe part
Mhm.
of it is maybe self-accountability might play a role that maybe even like confidence plays a role. I think some people are just more susceptible to trauma and than other people. But I'm sure there's a bunch of research on that I got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Now that's interesting. It really is, man. And that's why I brought up my boy from awareness weekend because I look at that like I don't know how I would react if I've been through something like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'll probably be worse. And I had another friend. He was great at art. He would not talk at all. He was like damn near mute. But and I know he's been through a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna say what he's been through, but like it's just different. People are just different. Our brains work different.
That's another thing. You were always good at drawing.
I was all right. I was all right. That was just a hobby. Like I was good at it. I think naturally, I feel like I could have been better at it if I took it serious.
It's not too
But
late. It's not too
yeah,
late.
it's not too late. It's not too late. It's not too late. Like I've been doing murals lately. I kind of want to do buildings now that I'm doing stuff big. But yeah, that was kind of like a random thing. I think I was naturally good at. Like my sister, that's what she wants to do. Like she goes to art shows. She was on,
In the genes.
yeah, she was in News 12. My uncle used to do art. My mother draws. So
Hmm.
it kind of, yeah, that is something that kind of runs in the family type of thing. But I don't know. It's something just I was naturally good at. But yeah, my
How many
sister,
siblings do you have?
I have two little brothers. They're twins. They're in the army right now. They're
Oh,
in,
they're in the
well,
army. They're
National
both in the
Guards.
army. Wow.
National Guard. So one of
Have
them's
I
actually
met
at a, I
them?
feel like you had to have meet them. We've known
I,
each other for a long time. I
well, I
feel like
came
you
to your
have.
house like once. I think I remember. I think I met them once. But did they go to Bayshore High School or were they too young?
Yeah, but they're 4 years younger than us.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
yeah, so I have two little brothers. I have one sister, one died at birth. So I'm actually the only one
Oh,
that's not a twin.
wow.
So yeah, both of my brothers are National Guards. My sister, she's doing her art thing right now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they're cool, man. They're good individuals, and that's the thing too. Like I look at them like they're so different from me, totally different.
Wait, so you're the
Because
oldest.
I'm the oldest, yeah. But
So
what
what
I
is what
realized,
is that
I can
like?
even say this, like, right? I don't mean to cut you off, my bad.
No.
I was just saying, like, when we were younger, my brothers were outside, but not outside. The same thing with my sister. She wasn't really outside with the other kids, but I noticed we're totally different personality wise. Like, meaning I listen to rap. I'm just, I talk a certain way and I look at them and they're totally different. Like, my brothers and sisters are very book educated. My sister listens to rock and roll. Like, they're totally different. So I think environment plays a big role, man. What you do when you're younger, who you're around, that all has an effect.
Well, I feel like, I really feel like Amityville shaped you, and then they were young. When they were in Amityville, they were probably in grade school or younger, so they probably have
Exactly.
no very little to no memories of Amityville, while
Exactly.
you have very vivid memories of Amityville.
Exactly. Exactly.
Not
Exactly.
that
That's not.
Bayshore was so great either. Bayshore wasn't that great.
It wasn't that great, but to me, compared to where
Uh,
I was at, it was heaven, bro.
mm.
Because, like I said, I used to get bullied just because I'm not gonna put nobody's name out there, but there was like a blood affiliation. I'm playing ball, all of a sudden somebody throws a ball at my head. Yo, fight, squad. And this kid is younger than me, but these kids are on demon time, bro. I wasn't on that type of time, bro. I never wanted to be a part of that. I had two cousins that one got arrested. He did like 20 years. He got out
Wow.
recently, probably like maybe like 5 years ago, something like that. And one of them came home when I went to my grandfather's funeral. Alfonso the First, missing his front teeth. I was like, I don't want that. I like women. I want to be free. Like I was not a part of that. But these kids that were next door to me and all that, they was on demon time, bro. So when I moved to Bayshore, I was like, I like that there's a mix of different races. Like that's one thing I was like, this is dope. You got Spanish people, you got white people, you got whatever. And it's like I like that because now I can be chilling. Like,
What
yeah,
was your understanding of why they were on Demon Time, of why they were so aggressive? Like what was your understanding of that back then?
out of everybody on my block, I was one of the few kids that had my father around. And my father wasn't around all the time. But on that particular block on Ronald Drive, I was one of the few. I made the kids that I knew, I was the only one that had a consistent father in their life. So like I don't want to name anybody's name, but most of the kids that even the kid that I had a fight with that was trying to be blood, every fight I had over there, a lot of them had home situations. And I knew because Ronald Drive was like a circle block. So we would all go to each other's house, not each other's houses, but around the area. We already met some of the family and stuff like that. But a lot of these kids would be outside. When my mother would be like, come inside, my father would be like, come inside. These kids are still outside, riding their bike in the ditch and doing shit, doing other things, not going inside. And that's how I feel like they'd be around these other gang members and they'd be outside, you know what I mean? Like, and that changes you when you feel like you don't have, like, imagine being a kid and not having discipline in the home and you don't have to listen to nobody. Maybe you may live with your grandmother. You're going to listen to that dude on the block that's teaching you how to be that man that nobody else is doing. So, like, by the time that we're playing ball, they already been playing with men. It's a different type of game. It's like it's like mental now. It's like, so that's the same thing with life. Now it's like they know how to talk. They know how to talk to women way before I knew how to talk. Like, it's like all of that stuff. So yeah, man, it's I think that was the biggest thing is the home situation. And I think that, a lot of people blame the movies, the music. I think a lot of it has to do with parents just not being there, you
Well,
know.
I don't know if you know
But
this,
that's just about wait, one real quick.
go ahead, go ahead.
Not always that's not always the case though, because
Yeah,
sometimes,
of
like,
course.
I'll give you an example. Casanova, the rapper,
Mhm.
lived in a great home. He just said in the interview, not just said it, but he said a while ago, I just started robbing just because I wanted sneakers. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's
But when
crazy.
all your friends are doing it, of course you're going to be inspired to do it. Like I was just watching a documentary the other day. Suge Knight had both his parents, and he still ended up like,
Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's
yeah,
crazy.
he had, he went to college,
Yeah. Mm,
and he ended up being the one, one of the most feared men in hip hop, the gangsters. But
yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but there's actually a statistic. There's a very, very strong relationship between no father in the home and the probability of the commit kid becoming a criminal. That
Yeah.
there's a lot of statistics behind that. Because
Yeah.
remember,
I can only imagine.
a lot of boys, especially once they reach high school, they're not listening to their mom. Like I remember, I'm going to tell you a story. So when I was in seventh grade, I used to kind of fantasize about having parents that just didn't care what I did. Like I just kind of wanted to because remember, you know how in middle school the bad kids are the cool kids?
Hmm.
But I kind of wanted, like, I had this fantasy of having parents that just didn't care, so I could smoke and drink and hang out and, talk back to the teachers. And now it's like, thank God
Right.
that my
Now
father
you
was home.
understand.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, thank
Yeah.
God, because like back then I used to look at my parents as like annoying authority, just annoying, and now it's like, thank God they were home, especially my father, who would
Yeah.
discipline me, because I don't know if I would have listened to my mother in eighth, ninth grade.
Yeah, because look at the cool kids now. With a lot of the cool, not all of them, but look at a lot of them. Look at a lot of the bad chicks now that were fired. They ain't looking so fire. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a blessing though. You know what I mean? It's a blessing, bro. You don't know that
That
when you're younger. You just want to you want to fit in. You're trying to figure out who you are. You know what I mean? Like,
I have to say, like, if you're 35 and not 300 pounds, you got to be proud of yourself for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy,
yo,
bro.
but
Like, some of the baddest girls are like, oh,
yeah,
at
it's
least
like whoa.
170, 180 now.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, a lot of these women too, I don't want to go on topic, but a lot of these women taking Ozempic, a lot of these women you know, getting those surgeries. It's like, listen, man, we here though, we good, you know what I mean?
That's why it's like it's nice to like to meet. It's always so interesting to me to see like where people are since high school, because so many people are not where you would expect them to be.
Yeah,
Like when you
yeah.
think about it, like there's really no one who is exactly where I expected them to be
Mm,
18 years later. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yep. No, that's a fact. That's a fact, man. You
Like
know?
some of the smartest kids don't make that much money now. I'm not gonna name any names. And then I have a friend who's a millionaire, and he was like, you couldn't tell in high school. You couldn't tell that he would have been a millionaire. You just couldn't tell. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. Life is about choices. A lot of people making different choices that may not go their way, so but there's always still time. You know what I mean? There's always, Steve Harvey didn't go on TBT. He was like 40 something, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always time to level up, progress. You know what I'm
And
saying? So,
that's something that to wrap this up, that's something that we should talk about because a lot of people around our age, they feel like they're running out of time. And like Steve Harvey, you said he was 40 when he became big, and
yeah,
like
something 45 or something. Yeah.
there's so many people, BB King, like there's so many actors,
Mm,
a bunch of actors who got big when they were 45, 50, 55. So I just want to make it very clear to everyone, to you, to everyone listening, you still got a lot of time. I mean, even if you're 40, 50, you still got time. You still got a lot of
right,
time.
right. No, that's a fact. That's a fact, man. You know what I mean? That's a fact. Nothing I can say to that, you know. It's got to keep progressing, you know. Just stay positive. That's all I can say. We all
Actually,
that's what we
there
do.
is one more thing I wanted to talk about, because, and this is personal, because I've been feeling a lot of regret lately about
Mm.
like things I did in my 20s or earlier or even early 30s. So have you been experiencing that lately? Like a lot of regret or not really?
Yes and no. Like I was saying, no in the sense of obviously, you know, those things made me who I am today. I
Mm.
feel like I had to go through certain experiences. Um, yeah, that's what I'm gonna stick to. I'm gonna stick to that because I can say, oh, I should have did this. I should have never brought that knife to the school. I should have did that. But at the same time, all of that humbled me. Life humbled me. Life will humble you. You know what I mean? So I love the fact that I came from where I came from. I wouldn't want to come from nowhere else because I know that now I can go in any setting and not be insecure. I could just say, I've been through this. Like, you can talk shit about my hairline, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I already know that. Like, I'm gonna talk shit back,
Right.
so a kid that may have not experienced that may not handle that well, even when they're older. And
Well,
that's why I feel like we get people like those school shooters and
yeah.
when the people start going crazy because they haven't had those experiences or they just can't handle it.
Well, it's really easy to go from Amityville to an easier setting, but it's really, really, really difficult to go from like, let's say, a nice, calm setting to a rough setting. Like that's like traumatizing to people, you know?
Right. Exactly. That's a fact.
But is there a part of you, because I'm speaking from experience, there's a part of me that's like, I could have been a millionaire by now if I had played my cards right,
Yeah,
if I had invested
definitely.
in Bitcoin. Like, is there a part of you that's kind of like that?
Yeah, yeah, but I think what keeps running through my mind is I know that. I know I could have did XYZ, but I chose it because I know what I'm doing, bro. I could have been somewhere else. I could have got a degree and done something else. I just want to be happy with it. That's what it is. And I may or may not do what I want to do, but I feel like at least I can look back and say I try to do this in my lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I look at like I want to just give you an example, like somebody like a J. Cole. I look at him like, okay, he succeeded in the rap thing, but then a couple years after, he's playing in a league in Africa, playing basketball. So it's
Yeah.
like you still, like he could have just stopped with the dream, but the fact that he did that, that was the highest level he was at. They made it be the highest forever, but that made me think like, damn, he's like what, a year older, year younger. Damn, I should still be trying to do whatever I want to do. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, like we still got to do what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it.
I,
That's it.
I heard this quote a few weeks ago that really stuck with me, actually a few months ago. I was watching a podcast and the quote is, it's all of our first times on Earth. Like it's our first time. How are we supposed to know? Like, and that kind of made me feel
Mm.
better about my mistakes because it's like when I was 2021, how was I supposed to know that Bitcoin was going to go from 12 cents to
Right, right,
$100,000? Like, how was I supposed to know that? You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
listen,
Like this,
I kind of ran out of questions. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this up? Anything else you want to say?
just a rebuttal for what, not rebuttal, but to respond from what you're saying. Like, yeah, like we're all freestyling life, man. All we could do is try to make a judgment and go off of that.
Mhm.
A lot of times we're influenced by society, what society wants, what society thinks. You should do this, you should do that, you
Uh,
should be a scientist or you should doctor or lawyer. But it's like at the end of the day, take care. As long as you are taking care of what you're supposed to take care of, nobody can tell you what you can't do. And that's how I look at it. That's how you should take your relationship. That's how you should take your relationship with your parents. That's how you should go with life. But I also feel like I just want to say this to the people out there: whatever dream you have, whatever endeavors you're trying to indulge in, just keep a lot of stuff to yourself because
yes. Yeah.
any negative thing can alter your whole
Life.
whole path. Like, and I noticed that from being in relationships. Like sometimes you could be with the wrong person, and they just look at you like, "This is what you're doing with your life." I have a kid. I need to do this, and that could alter everything. So I just say, take care of what you got to take care of, and follow your heart, man. Do what you got to do. Do
And
both.
and and also just to reiterate what you said, to don't tell too many people. Don't tell too many people
Yes,
because like there's
yes.
always that like there had to be at least one person that was kind of like, like I don't know, Alfonso, like this music, I don't know how far you're gonna get, or at least thinking it, and same thing
A
with me.
lot of people, bro. But you
Yeah.
know what's funny? The people that support me the most are my parents.
Yeah.
They push me to do that. So I'm like, if they support me, who cares what everybody else thinks? You know what I'm saying? But realistically, sometimes your parents won't support you. But I feel like you gotta. That's where the drive gotta come from, just to prove everybody wrong. Because not for nothing, everybody doesn't know the person that you have the potential to be.
Yeah.
People don't. A
I
lot of
don't think we
people.
even know.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's like, but people don't believe until they see something. I feel like so. It's like you said, we may not even know how powerful this shit will be, but you'll never know if you never try. You see
Like
what I'm
even
saying? You
right
got.
now, like I'm 35 years old, I still don't really know my potential. Like if you were to
Yeah.
ask me like where are you going to be in 10 years, I don't know, man. I'm probably a millionaire. I'm going back to school to be a therapist, but I genuinely don't know the answer to that question, and I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Because look at what you're doing now, bro. This could take off. You never know, man. You never know. And
Yeah.
this is dope because this is like, it's an interesting conversation that anybody that's whatever you're dealing with, you can take something from it and understand it and be like, you can apply it. So what, you know what I'm saying? But this is fire. I gotta say that. Like,
We're
I,
gonna
I
have a
didn't say
part
it too.
two. We're gonna have a part two in a few
Let's
months.
do a part two. Let's do a part two. I'm down. I'm down, man.
All
But this
right,
is
man.
fine. This is fine, man. I like this. This is intellectual conversation. This is not, you're not talking about no nonsense.
Yeah.
This is real life shit, you know?
We gotta collab on a song too soon.
Yeah, you see, I was thinking that too. Yeah, we should
Yeah.
do that.
If
Definitely
you
do
don't
that.
see
Yeah,
my
back
mic,
on the music, bro.
I still got the
Got the
equipment.
mic. Okay. I'm about to pull up on you, man. Gotta pull up.
Yeah. I'm gonna text you after this, bro.
All right, bet.
All
Bet,
right,
man.
boss. Thank you, man. Take
All right,
care.
bro. Holla.